Yeah. It's the mayor of Magaville, baby. Hey, you know who we voting for? We voting Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Red pill poppin', swerving in the Trump. Republican 4G, Antifa knows what's up. Red, white, and blue, mega nation, throw it up. Black, white, and brown, all about another Trump. Democrat party gon' take your freedom. Indicting our president cause they can't beat him. It's a two-tier justice system. Put America first, be the victim. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. Let's go, Brandon, sing it. We voting Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voted Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Now I pledge allegiance to vote for Trump. There's a red wave coming, you gon' surf for what? And God I trust to take the devil away. Lock Joe Biden up and throw the key away. Your propaganda ain't gonna work on me. Bidenomics is like you working for free. I demand reparations from every idiot that voted for Joe Biden, boy, period. Period, Sleepy Joe is a fraud. And the bloodbath in the Oval Office. The media is the enemy of the people. The Democrats and the fake news always cheat. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB. Let's go, Brandon, sing it. We voting Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voted Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy.
Trump, baby. November 5th, we're going crazy. I'll tell you what, guys. So we're 59 days until the election. 59 days until the election, the most important election. They always have been saying this, of course, my entire life. The most important election of your lifetime. Of course, I would argue that it is the most important election of your lifetime. It is crazy times that we are living in. That is for sure. For 59 days, we have 12 days until the sentencing as well. So 12 days until on the 18th, September 18th, we get the Fed. The Fed comes out with their rate decision on whether they're going to lower rates. It's pretty much locked in. They are going to lower rates. How much are they going to lower rates? Trump is the first crypto president. MAGA, you are absolutely correct, my friends. You know it and I know it. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get him in. I mean, he's got all the momentum in the world. If they throw him in jail, though, I really don't know. I think kind of all bets are off. I know a lot of people think that it'll bring in more votes and all that stuff. I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's going to bring in more votes or not. We're going to find out, aren't we? We are going to find out. And I don't know. They might not sentence him. It's a little hard for me to believe, though, that they came this far and then they're not going to sentence him. That's kind of what I think. I think they're going to sentence him to jail. We'll see. Maybe he'll be able to. He is having a news conference today at Trump Tower. So that will be very interesting at noon today. Of course, the whole world will be watching. It looks like I will be in New York. I was going to go to New York on the 19th, but I don't know how I missed the 18th. I mean, I guess I got to go up there on the 17th or 18th for the day of the sentencing. So I'll be there reporting live with the Impact Money Show, lobbying to end the Fed. I need to get together with Thomas Massey. I'm sure he's probably seen my banner with him up every morning. Funny stuff. Dalco Nation, let's go. I know. So what I'm going to do, Don, is my plan is to play our last interview that you and I did at the end of the show. Because I want to do staking for Dalgo and Al and P Gold. Because these guys, look, guys, I am like so bullish on these assets. I can't even tell you, because of the locked liquidity. I mean, if I can just show you very quickly, I got to get this over to my friend here. But if I can just show you this very quickly, present. Oops. Okay, I should be live over here. All right, hopefully I'm live. I present this vested as. Okay, here we go. So, of course, Polkagold and Dalgo are both on the Algorand network, and I talk about it every day because I am so bullish on these assets. So here we are. This is the total ecosystem. Okay, right here we have Polkagold is currently number 3 in the Algorand ecosystem. Okay, a little bit up today. But now Dalgo, which was like number 10, it was on the 10th page, number 10. It was on the 10th page a little bit ago, like a couple of weeks ago. And here they are now on page 2, Dalgo right there. So that's, I guess, like number 20 or something like that. Here's the interesting part. 33,000 now in Algorand liquidity. So that's a big jump. It's a big jump here. They had, I mean, it was like $2,000 in Algorand liquidity. They had this 236,000 right here in liquidity in Polkagold, which was like over 10% of the Polkagold supply was locked in here. And that's why. And then, guys, if I just scroll a little bit here, so now we have 33,000 also in Algorand locked up. Okay, and then look at this, 184,000 market cap right here. We did pop over 200 for a little bit, so this is probably a good entry point. But 184,000 market cap, and we have 236 plus 33, let's call it 240, 270, 270,000 in liquidity, folks. Okay, all right. Do I need to scream it from the rooftops? Okay, this one is going to go, not financial advice and all that good jazz I'm supposed to say. Okay, all that good stuff. I get paid to do this stuff. I have paid partnerships and all that stuff, okay? That's the way it works around here. I got a family to feed. But I try to bring you guys the best stuff. Try to bring you guys the best stuff you can make a lot of money on. And that is one of them. Dalgo and Polkagold. Polkagold has all that Algorand locked and loaded and burned. And then Dalgo, the same thing. These things, in my opinion, are going to rocket come October. Is October going to bring new all-time highs? The answer is yes. Of course it is. It always does. How high will the new highs be? We'll see. A lot of this stuff went really high, so we'll see how high it goes. Matt Dixon will join the show in a bit. We're going to talk gold too. Gold looking very nice. So 12 days. We have 12 days until the Fed rate cut. So the 18th is going to be a big day in the markets. Now, if we get a nice rate cut, which I'm sure we'll get some type of rate cut, and then they don't sentence Trump to anything, if Trump is not sentenced, the markets are going to explode. That's my opinion. Now, if Trump gets sentenced, which is very highly likely, and we get a 25 basis rate cut, which I think is likely, or we don't get a rate cut at all, which I think is unlikely. But I mean, we could have a crash of the markets. It absolutely could happen. It could happen. That's on the 18th. Now, you would think that the 18th would probably turn things around going into October, but we could have a nice big crash before we go into October. It's what the big guys like to do. If Trump gets sentenced, I mean, basically Trump has taken crypto and the crypto community so much into his arms that it's now synonymous. He's now synonymous with crypto. And if Trump is not going to win the election, then crypto is not going to go as high probably as it was. Now, that being said, the central banks and these other guys, they have more money than anybody else because they can print it. There's no limit on how much money the central bank can print. They completely control the printing policy. So they can pump whatever they want to. So that being said, anything can Anything can happen, guys. Anything. But it's going to be really interesting days moving ahead. So Trump, like I said, he is having his thing today. He's going to talk press conference, and that's going to be pretty interesting. That's going to be at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time from Trump Tower. 59 days ahead of the election today. 59 days ahead of the election. And the Democrats are pushing. For citizenship for all. Chuck Schumer gets on his soapbox yesterday, I think it was, and he says, we want to make all the undocumented people legal. Let me see here. Here it is right here, I think. Chuck Schumer. 11 million. Now, this is funny because 11 million is one of those numbers, okay? Like, literally, they have been saying that there were 11 million illegals or undocumented people or whatever you want to call them. I really don't care what you call them. You can call them princesses. They have been saying that there were 11 million princesses in this country for as long as I can remember, guys. Like, I mean, 30 years, 20, 30 years, they've been saying there was 11 million illegals in here. And meanwhile, millions and millions have been coming. Or 11 million. So this is what he says, though. 11 million. He knows that's the number. They've obviously done a lot of research. And they figured out that's what they want. Here's what he says. Let's take a listen.
The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome
or however many, he says. Well, of course, yeah, however many. All right, well, that's probably about the only honest thing he's said in a long time. Or however many. I mean, guys, it's like 50 million at least. I would come here. Wouldn't you come here? Especially now. I had the lady on yesterday. She's talking about how to get $15,000 in food, $5,000 on a debit card, and they get their stuff paid for, their housing paid for like at least 6 months. I mean, you know, hey, wouldn't you come? In America, we have pretty girls, nice stuff, lots of work. I would come here. I would be here, guys. I don't blame. If you're watching this and you came here illegally, I don't blame you. I do not blame you. And I also don't think anybody's going to make you leave. So we might as well work together. That's the truth of it. Maybe they will. If they do, I don't blame them either. You came here illegally. You shouldn't blame them either. If you came here illegally, we're going to have a deportation force. You should voluntarily deport. Because that's the rules of the country. And you are a guest here. Let's see here. Grok's AI leap. I mean, this guy's is like, Grok is now so much better than the other AI. I don't even know what to tell you. Like Grok, if you don't have Grok right now, pay the extra $8 or $16 or whatever it is. If you haven't gotten your verified, you should go ahead and do it. Pay the $8, get verified, but go ahead and do the $16 or whatever it is in your country, and get the Grok, because that Grok is unbelievable. It's unbelievable, guys. It's better than any other AI I've used. Unbelievable. Grok. It is really changing the way things go. I'm going to run through some of this because I got to bring on Matt here in a second. The other thing I wanted to mention, Pavel Durov's take on the it released a statement. I'm not going to read it right now. I'll try to read it a little bit later, but I don't have time to read it right now. But he released a statement, talked about how, you know, there's a dance between privacy and this and that. He doesn't understand why though he was arrested because, he is the CEO and not involved in the communications. Of course, TON has started its rally. Matt Dixon pointed out that we were probably bottomed out yesterday on the TON and would start to push upward, and he was absolutely correct. We had a nice move. How are you, Matt? Good day, sir.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, good to see you.
Yes.
We're going to take, we'll look at the cryptos briefly, but I want to take a little bit of a step back and look at gold.
Gold!
Yeah, so let me just share my screen. I'm looking way back on gold. I want to see where we're at in the long term, and hopefully that'll give us some idea of where we're going at shorter term. So
amazing.
Let's just see. There's a very long term look at gold. Trust you can see that.
Oh, yeah, that looks like a very nice chart right there. How far are we going back?
60 years.
60 years. So we're going back to 1965.
1960. So 60, 65 years, 64 years, whatever. Yeah. So I just wanted to get a picture because gold has actually got a different chart pattern than a lot of assets. I do firmly believe this is an impulsive move to the upside in 5 waves. And you may remember I looked at Bitcoin and some other cryptos, and there's a real possibility that the move up on Bitcoin from the beginning is actually a corrective move higher. So we would expect potentially at some point that big market crash and a corrective move down. But gold looks impulsive to the upside. So that's more encouraging. It tells us there's actually probably a better future for gold long term. But that's not to say Bitcoin and crypto isn't very exciting with amazing potential. It is. But let's just focus on gold for a minute. I think, and I think it's reasonably clear, we've got 5 waves up in these big red but basically blocked numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on a 5th wave higher. Now, with commodities like gold, like oil, and actually we'll look at oil as well, but with commodities, very often the 5th wave is the really extended wave. We've yet to see if that's the case, but there's still real potential for that to be. Although the 3rd wave here was extended to some extent. So what I did, you can see the Fibonacci measurement here. I measured the wave 1, and I just moved that measurement over, transposed it to the start of this wave 2, and it gave us exactly 2 times wave 1 was wave 3, the end of wave 3. You can see it was very precise. It was definitely the end of a wave, and you can see how it aligned perfectly with this 2 times wave 1. And that's really satisfying when you see these relationships, either Fibonacci relationships, which is related to the 0.618 or 0.382 or 4.236. There's various Fibonacci numbers, very, very important.
I actually ran through some of those numbers in the sequence yesterday after we were on.
Yeah, it's actually nice just to sometimes derive them for yourself, just to prove it.
Yeah.
It's quite satisfying. So as I say, it's not always a fib number, but often it's a whole number as well. So as I say, we've got 2 times here to give us the end of wave 3. Now wave 4 pulled back deeply, but it didn't cross into wave 1. So that's abides by the Elliott wave rules, not guidelines, but these are absolute rules. Wave 4 cannot cross into wave 1 here, and it didn't. And what's very interesting as well is we saw this wave 2 was kind of long, drawn out, very much sideways affair, really. And what you have is this is a guideline, not a rule, not an absolute rule of alternation. So it's more of a guideline, this. And when you expect to see, in nearly all cases, some alternation between wave 2 here and wave 4 here. And normally you'll see alternation in wave form, so a different type of wave, corrective wave, or you see a difference in the time scale, or you see a difference in the steepness. So very clearly, without any knowledge of the wave form, you can very easily see that this is a long drawn out wave 2, pretty flat, long drawn out wave 2. And then in contrast, this wave 4 is very steep and deep. You can see that. So, and then you can see obviously wave 4 is a very short time duration. It's just, you can see from here to here is a short time duration, whereas wave 2 is probably 4 times in duration. Wave 2 is long drawn out. So not only is wave 4 steeper, wave 2 shallower, wave 2 is drawn out, wave 4 is very rapid. So this again is really satisfying. It gives me confidence that these are the correct wave counts. So we're looking here at the monthly chart, which, as I say, is going back 65 years. So we can see that gold is in a long-term impulsive move to the upside, but we need to see whether we're near the end of that. So what we need to focus on now really is this final 5th wave higher. So we've got big wave 4 down here. So let's now focus on this final 5th wave, and we need to keep breaking it down and breaking it down. This is the way you should work with charts. Always start with the biggest time frame. Look at the big picture first. Then every smaller time frame you look at will need to align and fit within the bigger picture. So the bigger picture always gives you the overall view of where things are. Then you can focus in on more and more detail. So I'll go from monthly, I'll just go down to weekly, and you can see now the wave 4 is opened out a little bit. This is that final wave 4. So this is the move down in wave 4, and then wave 5 is looking at upside. So this is where we're at right now, around about this little arrow here, about 2,500 on gold right now. And wave 4 started, wasn't that long back, well, 2015. So this wave 5, it just shows the big time scale we're looking at. And I won't go into the labeling of all these different fractals. We'll just keep it fairly simple for now. So from 2015, you can see we've still been moving up impulsively to the upside. And like the big picture that we just looked at, even the smaller picture is actually quite similar. It's broken into 5 waves, and it's impulsively to the upside. And there's no overlap again between, we've got wave 1, wave 2 in red, wave 3 we're still working on in red. But the wave 3 itself is broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in blue. And we can see that, again, no overlap. We can see alternation here. Wave 2 is steep. So again, it's actually alternating from the previous cycle where we had a long drawn out wave 2. This time we've got a very steep short wave 2. And we've actually got a more long drawn out wave 4. So again, we've still got that rule of alternation. It even alternates from the previous cycle, whereas the wave 2 was drawn out. So that's really nice to see. Yeah, we can see here, sorry, the wave 2 here is short. The wave 4 here is long and drawn out. So we need to look at the same cycle, compare the same cycles. So with wave 2 in red being short and steep in duration, when wave 4 comes, and we're not yet at wave 4 in red, this red here, when wave 4 comes, it's likely to be longer and drawn out and sideways. So we are going to expect at some point some fairly long drawn out movement for wave 4. So whilst I've got this wave 4 here drawn quite deep, it probably won't be. It'll actually be probably a very shallow, long drawn out affair for the wave 4 before we then move up again in a 5th wave to the upside. So still looking really encouraging for gold. So let's just again focus even shorter term. So we've looked here at wave 1 in red, wave 2 in red. Then wave 3 should be made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on the 5th wave in blue, which will give us the end of the 3rd wave in red. So sorry, it's a little bit complicated, but hopefully you'll be able to follow that we're looking for the end of this 3rd wave in red. Then we get a sideways drawn out affair for wave 4. So let's go from weekly to daily and see where we are there. So again, we've scrolled right the way out and we're focusing on another final wave at a smaller fractal, in fact. So we've got here from this small wave 4. Remember, we're trying to work up towards the end of this bigger wave 3. So we've got wave 1 up, wave 2 down, wave 3 up would be expected to go to at least 1.618. Wave 3, an extended wave, is always a minimum 1.618 for the extended wave. So I'm expecting a little bit higher, and we'll just focus on that, what the expectations are. It gives us, as we're getting shorter and shorter, it actually tells us more immediately what our trade setup should be. But as I say, we need to understand the long term, then focus shorter and shorter. So here we've got the 1, we've got a wave 2 slightly drawn out. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on the final 5th wave higher. So from here, and I'll probably just put a line in there just for us to see where we're talking about. So somewhere maybe maybe from here, somewhere around about there. From there, we're looking at, so we've got wave 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down, and working on the final 5th wave at this smaller time scale. So now we'll go to the 4-hour, and things start to become a bit clearer as to where we actually are in the market today. So this is the wave 3 that we're looking at, and this blue line at the top is that 1.618 extension I told you about. We can actually see it there now, 1.618 times the wave 1. So I'm expecting it to finish most likely on this 1.618. It could go beyond, but that's most likely. And what really gives me encouragement is I think that we're most likely, and again, I'll open this out even more, we're working on what's called a triangle formation towards the end. Now, a triangle, in this case, if we're in an impulsive move to the upside, this will be a wave 4, a small wave 4. So a triangle is what's called a pre-terminal wave. So the final wave up will be the final wave in this cycle to give us the end of wave 3, which very satisfyingly will most likely end at the 1.618 extension of wave 1. So it's really beginning to look very, very nice.
Yeah, it is really set to run.
Yeah. So we may have a bit of a pullback. So I've just opened it out now. This was the small wave 3, small wave 4. We may have a little bit of a pullback, and it's not much. I mean, we're talking about maybe to 2.4. What are we talking about? If it falls to this level, 2.473, and we're 2.518. So very little pullback. But most likely, we could see a little bit of a pullback on gold before we then get a further impulse to the upside with substantial upside. So I would never dream of going short, because this is definitely an impulsive move to the upside, I think. I wouldn't dream of going short. I would only look to maybe add to positions, using our dollar cost average that we're always talking about, buying the dips. So I wouldn't buy right here, but I would wait for a potential pullback and buy some more here. But hopefully you're already long gold, I hope, because we've been talking for a long, long time that gold is in a bullish phase. And we've been saying over and over again, all these pullbacks are opportunities to add to your position. And this hopefully will be just another of those opportunities. So if that's a triangle, the next wave up would be a terminal wave, possibly and probably to this 1.618 blue line here. And then we get a bit of a pullback. But remember that wave 4, in alternation to the previous wave 2, is likely to be fairly shallow and sideways, maybe a bit long drawn out. So again, I would be using that once again for buying the dips, opportunities to buy dips. So even if we peak out here, obviously I wouldn't be chasing the price higher, but if we do see a pullback in wave 4, I would then look to be adding to my positions and buying the dips. Again, diversification is everything. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put it all in gold. But as part of your gold holding, it's good to buy dips, of course. So that's what the outlook is at the moment with gold. Bitcoin and co it's somewhat frustrating. We've just been in the summer doldrums for such a long time now, and we're waiting for the all-important September the 18th, the Trump ruling, and of course, very importantly, the Fed, the FOMC meeting, the setting of the interest rates. As Bruce said, we're most likely expecting a 1/4 point. So we had some numbers out yesterday, some jobs data, which was relatively stable. So there's nothing to rock the boat there. More importantly, today we've got non-farm payrolls. Now that's always a big market mover if it misses expectations. So we'll be keeping our eye on that really, really closely. But at the moment, it appears that, well, let me just, before focusing further on here, let me just get back to, I did say I was going to look at oil. I mean, oil has fallen quite dramatically. This is probably off the back of peace talks in the Middle East and Israel pulling back from some of their operations.
And election year, bring the price down so people aren't crying at the pump before they vote.
I mean, inflation has been the big problem. I think oil prices have been one of the big drivers of inflation. It's not actually so much internal, not necessarily wages and all that kind of thing. It has actually been, I think, largely driven by oil prices. So we saw a peak in oil not long back. We've fallen about 25%. I mean, just look back. It's only, what's that, July 24? No time at all. And we've fallen 25%. The oil price, maybe it's a little bit before that when it was $87. But anyway, it's fallen 25% from the reasonably close high that we had. Yeah, back up here, it's April actually. So we're less than 5 months ago and we're 25% lower. Now that's got to be a big drag lower on inflation, surely, because one of the big expenses for everybody is energy. It's for business, it's for transportation, it's for heating, it's for virtually, manufacturing, it's for everything that we do. Energy is all important. So the fact that oil price has fallen by 25%, surely this has got to have a downward pull on inflation. So it does give the Fed room, I think, to lower rates. And the Fed have given indications that rates are going lower. And as we discussed yesterday, I don't think they're going to create panic in the market by doing 50 basis points. I think it will be, hopefully, a series of 25 basis point cuts. And it means that they would still have plenty of room because they're now at a relatively elevated level on interest rates, over 5%. So they can afford quite a few drops to try to stimulate the economy and show that everything is managed and under control. So all in all, I think the inflation picture should begin to look better. But as I say, it's really important. Jobs are very important. That's one of the Fed mandate is to maintain employment. So we'll see what the jobs come out at today. I think the unemployment rate is actually set to fall again. So if that's the case, then maybe that SARM rule that we looked at yesterday, in fact, I think I've still got it here. I'll just check. Yeah, I won't bother looking into it now. Oh, there it is, actually. Yeah, the SARM rule. So we just ticked over 0.53. Anytime it's been over 0.5 has signaled recession ahead. So I do expect recession to come, but let's just see. It'd be quite interesting if it were to drop below that 0.5 level, which is the signal. But as I say, we've hit the signal. Every time it's hit the signal in the past, we've had a recession to follow. So I do think that that's the most likely outcome. How serious it is, we don't know as yet. But so flipping back, so as I say, I think inflation should be subsiding because oil prices are coming down sharply. Wages are relatively under control. I think the economy is in a nice situation, and that's what everyone would want for an election year, of course. So jumping around again with XRP, I wanted to do that because it's fallen reasonably sharply. It's actually down to 53 cents today. It's 55 yesterday. I think it's in a corrective mode. We can see all this overlap, move up here is crossed over this, all sorts of crisscrossing and overlapping here. So I still think that we're set for some good upside to come in all the tokens, but we're just having to exercise extreme patience. I mean, Bitcoin, again, Bitcoin is showing us some tremendous signs. Just put that RSI back in just to show us we've got some very nice divergence there. Yeah, I knew it was already there, so I can get rid of one of them. I've got rid of the wrong one, of course, but anyway, we can see the downward slope on the actual price there. And I'll just put the upward slope on the corresponding RSI. You can see I'm lining it up perfectly there to show that we've got RSI troughs are going higher. So the RSI lows are basically got higher lows and we've got lower lows on price. That's actually just regular bullish divergence. That's telling you that we are expecting movement up on Bitcoin. And what was really interesting, this whole movement up from the bottom, what I've labeled wave 4, this whole movement up, you put the fib measuring tool on it as 100%. And then the pullback has been to exactly 0.618, our golden ratio yet again. So this just comes out over and over and over again. This is a very, very common pullback. So this is quite likely a wave 1 higher and a wave 2 down. And we can see basically the wave 2 itself made up of an A, a B, and a C of some sort. So it's very satisfying yet again. This looks like a correction. And when I open this out, by the way, I don't know if we'll see it on this time frame. Yeah, we can just about see. Actually, wave 1 was in the middle here. It's moved up in wave 1. Then we've got this red candle down wave 2. Then we got a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. So very satisfying wave 1 up and an ABC wave 2 down. We've got the perfect bullish divergence in place there. So Bitcoin's looking bullish. I'm going to run around very quickly because now I've got to close in a moment. Same sort of thing for Solana. We've got an impulsive move higher. We've got a WXY move down. I think that we've had, once again, a very nice impulsive move higher, corrective move down. So I think we're going higher with Solana. If I go across the board, they're looking really good across the board. One of the few in the positive today is actually a few of the more speculative ones. I did mention Rollbit yesterday. It's actually up 0.67% today. So again, we're really good at picking these ones out. We picked various ones out, and I hope that we're going to be coming out with something that will help you and better inform you onto how to make trades, whether it be gold, whether it be stocks, whether it be crypto. We're going to come out with some sort of resource to help you make better trading decisions. So that's about it for today. Weekend. So I hope you have a lovely weekend, Bruce. I'll be traveling, but should be back online for Monday. So again, thanks everybody. Hope it's helpful, and thanks for listening. Have a lovely weekend.
Safe travels, brother. Thank you.
Cheers, Bruce. Thanks everybody. Bye for now.
Cheers. So I'm going to play, guys, we have a lot of movement going on with my friends over at Polka Gold, and I'm going to play this video that I did with Don Baruda the other day, a little bit ago, and I just want you to watch it because I am super bullish on these two assets, and here's some of the reasons why. We are going to start playing here. Here we go. There we go. I woke up this morning. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. I woke up this morning. I looked at my stuff as I normally look at it. Oh, look at that! Because I've been going. I'm long on these things. I really believe Polka Gold, and the Dalgo, their meme coin. These things are going big. You can get into an asset like this, and you can buy a considerable amount of the total supply. And then when these things go to 10 million, when they go to 20 million, when they go to 50 million, 100 million, or even 1 million, like Dalgo is, I think it's like $250,000 or something right now. It was like 180 yesterday. Those are big moves, guys. Those are big moves. So I have with me here Mr. Don Baruda, my brother from another mother.
How you doing?
Awesome, man. Good to see you.
Salutations to you and the Impact Money Show. Thank you for having me.
Man. I'll tell you what, I was really happy this morning waking up. I know a lot of our listeners or watchers were too, the ones that moved on this asset. I talk about it every day. I'm sure you were happy too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, we had a bit of a retracement, I would say, earlier the month. Well, you know how the markets go.
Yes.
But you know, with all this locked liquidity, you know, scooped up, I want to say within a day or two, right? So
every dip, and you know, the thing is, they're both such attractive assets. So just to break it down a little bit for everybody, I know I talk about it, so you probably know, but Polka Gold is started by Polkadot and Algorand Wells, and they just locked a bunch of Algorand in liquidity and launched on there, and everybody had to buy. But so it has a base. Algorand, I think we can all agree, has been across the bottom now. They are now going back there. I think at around 8 cents was their bottom. So at 16 cents, they've doubled from there. And if you can imagine, like Bitcoin has already tripled and quadrupled, right, from the bottom. So that's where we're looking at. All-time high for Algorand is 327. We're at like 13 cents or something like that right now. So there's a lot of room for that to go. And then they launched their Dalgo meme coin in the same way, locking the liquidity. I looked last night. I mean, there was like, well, I've been saying they locked over 1% of the supply, and I know it's all not locked at this point, but you know, there's over 1.5 million Polka Gold there in the liquidity pools of Dalgo, and there's only 10 million Poke Gold. So this thing is just set to run. The Dalgo is especially just because it's such a low market cap. This is like, you're going woo like this. You know what I mean? But both of them are just, it's like this feeding frenzy on both of them once it starts.
What that's the thing, I in my opinion, it's like, I don't want to say there's a bit of a supply shock, but it kind of feels like that,
Yes.
in regards to, all the locked liquidity. To your point, that 10%, that was just in Dalgo. And it's, around 1.5 million P gold. But to top it all off, I mean, over 60% of just locked liquidity just for Poke Gold itself.
Yes.
So it's like,
So talk about, so there's over 60%. I think as I was looking last night, 67% is like locked type burned, or what's the difference kind of?
So burn. So we say burn, but it's actually locked. So if you look at Vestige, right, on vestige.fi, it states the difference. So most projects, when they say token burn, they burn like, X amount of coins forever, right, to make it scarce. So this locked liquidity, or this locked portion of P Gold, is locked away forever. So what does that mean, right, in these vaults specific to this asset? Is it is locked away forever, meaning whoever started this project, right, they can never go back in and retrace those funds. Never.
Right.
So that's why we say burned, just to, I guess, without going in further explanation for the masses, right? But the proper terminology is, it is locked. So if you look on Vestige, .fi, I don't know if you have it on there, but if you
I
look,
do, I can pull it up here. I was just actually scrolling through the Vestige. Let me share the screen here as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it's locked. That's locked away forever, right? That percentage. So in theory, right, as long as there is an algorand, right, behind Poke Gold, it will have value. The same is to be said about the USDC. The same is to be said about the Euro stable coin behind it as well. So
this is the daily. So if I bring this down to, let's say, the hourly, let's look at the hourly. I mean, let's look at this. So right now, market cap of 864,000. We're going to be back up, I know, above $1 million very shortly. But I think you wanted to talk about this locked liquidity. You can look here. So 864 market cap. We have 400,000, over 400,000 liquidity locked in the P Gold Algo, and over nearly 300,000 in the Dalgo P Gold. So that right there is what, 700,000. So, and then you have, the different USDC, there's Euros locked, there's, so basically you're looking at assets, both of them. Dalgo actually has a higher liquidity lock than the market cap. It might have changed overnight, I'm not sure. But P Gold, it has, the liquidity is as much as the market cap right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a bit, I would say, remarkable. That's why
remarkable. It's a better word.
It's Dalgo. I mean, it's an anomaly in and of itself. It's the most liquid meme coin to date.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the most liquid meme coin. And actually, what was happening as well on over the you guys everything was trending, or P Gold and Dalgo. And
so the apart from trending, sorry to cut you. On Dex Screener. So
that's what I meant.
Yeah. So on Dex Screener,
actually, let me share that screen. Look at this. Just look right up top here. So this is Dex Screener.
Yeah.
And here we go, guys, right here. Dalgo, P Gold, and Algo right here. 1, 2, 3.
Dalgo's number one.
Dalgo's number one.
Yeah. To
the moon.
To the moon. Dalgo Nation, Dalgo Nuts. Oh
Yes. Yes.
yeah. It's pretty remarkable, you know, how I never would have thought, you know, Dalgo would have outpaced Keygold in this regard in terms of ranking. Yeah, I mean, just because it's so tiny. I mean, look at the market cap, Bruce. What do we say Dalgo is at? 280?
It's like $250 million. 216 is what it's saying over here.
But the lock liquidity is more than the market.
Yes, the lock liquidity is more.
Yeah.
It might not show it. So 280 in liquidity, 260
in Keygold. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm confused myself. So I was like,
well, here's the thing. What I can tell you what's going to happen is as this thing goes into centralized exchanges, it's just going to go like this. It's like, and that's one of the reasons.
There's no other way, you know, I want to stay around it, you know?
Right.
And it's like P-Gold, you know, I've been watching this thing since it started back in November, you know? And to see it, you know, I want to say around, you know, mid-November, when it was hovering around a penny and a half, you know, and then to see it double, stay more or less, I want to say around the 3 cent mark for about a week, and then just shoot up. And, you know, obviously people buy and sell, but it's held steady.
People take profits.
Of course.
It's part of it. It's part of the deal. I can't tell you the number of guys. Oh, people are selling. Well, look, that's what you want. Okay. People buy and sell.
For sure. But here's the thing, you know, in my humble opinion, even with P-Gold, you know, I don't mind that there's a redistribution of P-Gold.
Exactly.
It's a scarce asset, right? It's a scarce asset. And, you know, touching upon our first interview, you know, if you recall, you know, I shared with you when this project first came out, there was a big whale, right?
Yep.
And this guy had over, you know, he had like 6 million P-Gold. You know, we're talking about over,
like, holy smokes.
Yeah, you know, he got in at like 0.000 whatever it was.
And it changed his life.
Yeah, he could have, but long story short, he was swing trading it, which I'm glad he was, right? And I'm not trying to throw jabs at anybody, Bruce. I'm just sharing with you my outlook.
Right.
You know, he got priced out at the end of the day, right? You know, even at the prices that we're at today, which is, I mean, you know, it's tiny, right? He got priced out. You have a redistribution, you know. That's the beauty of you know, market value.
I mean, yeah, it's such a clever way, and it's you know, I don't know if I might have told you, but back in the day, there was a point when Bitcoin was like $70 or $90 or something, and I had a lot of them, and I thought to myself, but there weren't really DEXs back then. But I thought to myself,
it was super difficult. You also had to be started.
Well, so put a bunch of things of the asset that we didn't have this structure, and it's probably smart because almost every I would say every centralized exchange that exists is on. So I would Bitcoin, right? But that structure of locking the liquidity in there on an asset that's going to go to the moon is winning the plan.
Yeah, it's you know, ingenious, right?
It is,
but
it's like half the battle. It really is.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, and it's like, the thing is, I don't know, there's so much beauty, I want to say, in simplicity, you know? Unfortunately or fortunately, you know, like with everything, it's met with scrutiny. And, you know, I'm the type of person, I accept that, right? You know, I like open debate, you know?
Yeah.
And I tell you, with this project, you know, there is, I want to say, a little bit of hesitation, you know? just because of the name per se. But it's like, if you read the white paper, if you take 2 minutes to read the white paper, it explains exactly the whole premise of the project. You know, it's not trying to overshadow any, you know, other chain or project out there.
Well, that's you know, the white paper is always very hard to read for people. So one trick that I have for reading the white paper is I worked with the blind a lot over the years, and I don't know,
Really?
you can go to accessibility on your phone, and you can turn on, you know, read to me, and you can set the speed. And so if you want to read something like a white paper that's like 50 pages long or something, then you just take your phone and you highlight it, and then it pops up and you say read, and it blah, 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 blah. So that's a trick, and that's you know, like,
And it's at like 2.0 speed, right?
yeah, like no, like 10.0 speed.
10 point. Oh wow. Yeah.
No, it's like
It's yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, but anyway, if you read the white paper, yeah,
Obviously, you know, and you've told, you know, the community, it's built on Algorand. You know,
Yes.
Algorand in and of itself, I mean, it's, you know, zero downtime, instant finality, right?
Yeah.
It's like I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But another thing, you know, that really is, you know, I would say beyond amazing when it comes just to Algorand, you know, Pokegold being built on Algorand, is, you know, the founder, Silvio Macaulay, he was one of the founders back in 1985 of ZK Snarks. So, you know, zero proof knowledge.
Yes.
You know?
MIT grad. I mean, we're talking, this guy is a brain. And as I always say, not the usual cabal dudes that are behind everything else.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, what can I say? I mean, Algorand, you know, it's like they're doing an amazing job, right? Across the board, you know, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just everything clicks, you know. If you could read the writing on the wall, as they say, you know, everything clicks. And another thing too, you know, as you were touching upon earlier with Matt, you know, with everything going on in our economy, global economy, geopolitical, everything, you know, hard assets, most people don't own them. You know, the average, what is it, Bruce? The average American doesn't even have like $1,000 just in case they get into an emergency.
Well, and the thing is, you probably shouldn't have much money in the bank anyway, because it's a losing proposition. But you should have it in crypto.
Yeah, the FDIC is not really.
FDIC has literally. I was at a bankers convention, believe it or not. They have. Now they have less than that. They literally have 0.7% of all of the deposits that they are supposed to be insuring. 0.7.
Yeah.
Not even 1%.
Yeah, it's unfathomable. I mean, another thing people don't talk about, it's like, let's say tomorrow you want to go buy a car in cash. Let's say the car is like $8,000. You go to the bank, you tell them I want to withdraw $8,000 out of my bank account. They're going to ask you, why do you need this money? You know, what are you going to go do with it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, people overlook this fact. I mean, so much of our lives, right, you know, for the good, I would say, you know, technology wise has, you know, been elevated, right? Except for the legacy systems in many regards.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, you know, not at this stage in humanity.
I know.
You know, it's just like, it's the great equalizer across the board, you know?
Well, and that's what we were talking about around the world, you know, for years. And that is that, you know, this is the wealth transfer. Okay. This is it. I mean, just the fact that you're able to own something,
Yeah.
Like literally, if like I own my house and I don't have a mortgage, but if I don't pay my taxes on the house, they take my house.
Yeah.
And the taxes are ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and they only go up here.
And they're only going to go up.
Yeah. So it's like, what do you really own at the end of the day? You know?
Like exactly. I own my crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah. Well, that's why I say, you know, like touching upon, you know, our first meetup, you know, what do I value? What do most people value is freedom, you know? It's like, it doesn't get freer than that. Not that I know of.
It doesn't. And it's interesting now, of course, we have our friend, of course, Trump. Trump is, and you know, I don't care which aisle you fall on, really. But the point is that now that he has come out really in favor of crypto, he's kind of gotten it, you know, he understands it a bit more, I think. That has as well brought a lot more eyes to it. But, you know, a lot of these people, they still haven't entered the market. They haven't entered the market yet. And guys, you know, like I say every morning, I like for you to have a good way in, and I like for you to have a good way out too. And so, if you haven't bought yet, if you haven't entered the market, Polka Gold is a good one. Not financial advice. These are highly special. These are highly what's the word?
Volatile assets.
Yes, all this stuff. Yeah.
Not financial advice. As
yes.
always, do your own research, but you know, touching upon what you know, Bruce and Matt were talking about. You know, ever since you know fiat currency, we've been off the gold standard, right?
Yeah.
And all that. I mean, forget about the value of the dollar or the euro or whatever. If we're just going to use an example, let's look at the quality of life we all have collectively, right? And let's just compare that to our parents. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, right? Let's just compare it to our parents. Are we living a better life than our parents? Most of us are not. Right. You know, why is that? It touches upon very simple principles that, you know, most people make sound, you know, they make it sound like it's more out of your scope or difficult than it should be. But it boils down to this: the debasement of our currency, inflation. You know, so we have
central bankers, guys. The central bank is in control of our countries. And this is our way to fight back peacefully. We can fight back peacefully. There hasn't been a shot fired. This monetary revolution, I talk about it around the world, it has been going on for over a decade. It took the governments of the world 5 years to even figure out what was going on. I'm surprised that the banks have even been able to stay in business this long. I thought everything was going to crash way before, but that was even really before I realized how much of a crooked scam this was, because there's so many ways that the central bank can take your money. They can take it by diluting you. They can take it with the interest rates. They take it with the market making. The markets, they're the biggest market maker out there. When you see them crash the markets, a lot of the times that's just them removing the dollars that they printed up from the markets. They crash the markets, they buy it back, and they take all that money in between. And if you don't understand how that works, ask the traders if they have the money anymore. They'll tell you, no, I don't have it.
Well, that's like they say, you know, the smart traders, they make money, you know, when it goes up and when it goes down. To your point, you know, they're always making the money.
Right.
But at least
and they see everything. The central bankers, and they have an endless supply of cash. So I'm sick of being ruled. I talk about it. I am sick of being ruled. And you know,
I'm with you. That's what I say, you know, to your point, you know, a way to peacefully resist, you know, all of this is, you know, to take this stance. You know, it's also to educate yourself. You know, it took me about, I don't want to exaggerate to you, it took me around 5 years to understand the concept of digital currency. Decentralization, right? And you know, I never look back, and I'm not going to. You know, why would I? You know,
Right.
It's like, you know, it's like I said the other day. It's either you get with this technology or you get left behind. History may not repeat itself, but it most definitely rhymes. You know,
Right.
and you know, at least with this, it's sound money.
It's sound money.
Yeah.
It's sound money. And if you believe the rest of the, you know, and algo too, it was really great to see that move. I was in the chat. I told you guys, algo looks like it's about to go. And sure enough, you know, a 5% move, guys, if you're leverage trading, okay, even if you just 2x, okay, and you do a 2x leverage, a 5% move is 10%. Okay, so just so everybody kind of, you know, understands that. I know that we're traded on CoinStore as well. CoinStore, CoinStore also has P Gold. Doesn't have Dalgo yet, but we're traded on there as well. And I know there's some talk about getting some leverage trading there. I think it would be a lot of fun. But the place with the most a decent amount. I mean, you just
and another thing, you know, even with the DEX, specifically, you know, most people in the space, they use Tinyman, right? If you were on Tinyman, right, just to give everybody some context, they their coin whatever, you would have got airdropped some Tiny, you know, and it just came out and it was just listed, I believe, a day or two ago on MXC. So it's like, you know, Algorand is, you know, it's making big moves, you know.
It is. And I really, like I said, it's not the same cabal behind it. So it's an interesting play. Of course, my wife is Italian. So we were actually just over there. Her family, her father is still back and forth. It's like 6 months there, 6 months back. They have some.
That's living. Sorry to cut you off. 6 months there, 6 months here.
Yeah.
That's the good life.
It is the good life. I agree. She says, so I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, whatever, dude. And they
this is a sign, Bruce.
I know. It is a sign. Well, you know, we spent a couple of weeks there. We had a European vacation this year. We went to Paris and we went to see our family there. They're in Venice area. Yeah, it is great. But we're like, I can't believe that we haven't been doing this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like going to Vegas. I mean, it's an hour or two longer than going to Vegas. You know what I mean? You fly into to Venice or Milan. Milan's a little further away, but you just fly right into the Venice. And we have this huge family over there. My youngest daughter was hilarious. She goes, well, Dad, what are we doing? And I said, well, we're going to go see your 10 cousins in Italy. She's like, she's a snip, dude. She's a bit. She looks at me. She says, I have 10 cousins in Italy and you never told me? And it was like, you know what? She's right. Like, we have this family over there, and never again. I mean, we're gonna go over there every year. It's important.
Well, you know how it is. You know, everyone's busy with school, you know, work, you know, just sheer responsibilities. Sometimes, you know, we all want to have that breath of fresh air. It's just sometimes, you know, things come up. That's you know, so things come up. We have plans, and then, you know, whatever happens. You know, I can't tell you how many trips I had. Paid the tickets and everything, and then something came up and I had to just cancel.
I know.
So it's like, you know, but it is a breath of fresh air.
It is. You know, it's great. In Europe, I love Europe. I really do. I love Europe in general. So now pretty cool. So I think, you know, one of the main things is we did have a nice move today, but you see us trending there with Polka Gold and Dalgo. Trending on DEX tools. That's going to bring more people in. More people are going to see it.
On DEX? No, not DEX. It was DEX Screener.
You're right. DEX
Screener. Yeah, DEX Screener. That's that platform most people use when they look up coins, especially you know, that's the new coins and the meme coins. So that's something to rave about. And it's so, you know, the market cap, once again, I mean, it's $216,000. You know,
with 250,000 in liquidity.
No, 280,000 in liquidity.
180,000.
But it's like, but it's so, I mean, it's just so, it's so small, but it has so much potential.
You're
You
right.
know?
I'm going to share this tab again just so we see that.
It's
You're
just,
right.
yeah, like it's just crazy that it's number one. I can't believe it's above people on deck screener. I'm still
Well, yeah, I have the deck screener pulled up too, but I just had this right here. Right here, 282. This is total value locked. And so they have, of course, that's the Dalgo P Gold pairing right there, and then the Dalgo Algo 6,700. So nearly 300,000.
Mind you, you know, it's because that nice uptick we've had in P Gold itself in the last 24 hours.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. The two are married.
Oh yeah, because
Dalgo is the leading branch.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
So
in the last 24 hours, it went up the market cap probably around 100, I believe $120,000, less than 24 hours. So, you know, it's a major jump, but what stands out to me is how there's not these major dips. When you look at other projects, right? I mean, it's just the charts, they align.
Yeah.
You know, there's not this huge divergence. I mean, look at that. Like it's slow and steady and then
boom.
Yeah. So it's like you can't really ask for more, I would say, in terms of the chart pattern there.
Yeah.
But I want you to look real quick, since you're on the vestige or P Gold. If you click on the vault right down there to the right. Yeah. So that's what, you know, I want the audience, you know, to take a good look at, just to understand. So when it says the total supply burned, that's what's locked, right? That over that 60% right there.
68 total liquidity burned. Yep.
Yeah.
68.9%. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just say 60 because I got so used to saying 60. I don't know, you know, however months ago it was, but yeah, 68.9%. But if you look, Bruce, what I want you also to focus on is look how much P Gold that is. That's 3 million P Gold out of 10 million coins. You know, we're talking about 30% of the coins. So, like, just to give you a point of reference, Bruce, what I want the audience to understand is, like, for example, let's say Polka Gold reaches a $10 million market cap. Right? Just hypothetical. Right. That means,
I mean, that's not very hypothetical. That will happen.
I'm just, you know, I just want to throw a number out there, an easy number for, you know, for everyone to digest. But that means that total liquidity burned will be $3 million.
Yep.
Because of, you know, right there.
Yeah. So,
okay, for fun, let's say, you know, we reach $100 million market cap. That means that's $30 million. That's the new baseline, as they like to say. And, you know, for fun, once again, $1 billion, that's $300 million. I mean, this is why I call it the honey badger, you know, of cryptocurrency. It can't, you know.
Yeah.
It's not
well, and to let everybody know, Don was the guy. During the show, you got to look at P Gold. Look at Polka Gold.
Yeah.
And finally, I saw it at least 8 times.
Yeah.
Finally, I was like, okay, what is going on with this Polka Gold?
I know I was bothering you a lot, but I was like, you know what? I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be that person, Bruce, because I know in the crypto space they're all out there. But you know, I can't lie. I'm very passionate about this project. Just because, honestly, it really stood out.
Yeah.
You know, just because of this, you know, lock liquidity. I have not personally seen, you know, anything else out there that had something like this. But another thing as time went on is, like I said, you know, you look at the chart, like it holds steady.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty remarkable. You know, so it's like, yeah, you know, I'm in it. That's all I have to
Dude, you're not in it. You're like leading the way. You're like, I remember I remember back in the day. I don't know if you knew. Well, Charlie Lee was a friend of mine. Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin. But then he had his buddy there, who was also a friend of mine. John Kim. And everybody's like they were related, but they weren't really related, but whatever. John Kim was like, he was the ambassador. I mean, this guy, he went around, it was Litecoin. He like wrapped his car in Litecoin. He came here, we did like a skit in the national, anyway, I shouldn't say exactly, but anyway, we did an ice cream skit and everything else. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But you are that guy of Polka Gold and Dalgo, and I can tell you, man, he made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. Yeah,
no, I believe it. You know, I tell you honestly, you know, with the Polka Gold community, honestly, everyone, you know, does their part. I mean, you're in the group, you know, you've seen the Telegram, but you know, me, it's just like I said, it's just I can't stop talking about it. You know, all my friends, my family, you know, I share with them the videos. I'm like, look, just look at this. You know, I'm even studying. I got my professors looking at it. I sent our first video to a couple of my professors. They watched it all. I'm gonna tell you a quick funny story, Bruce. One of my professors was like, "How do you go on?" Look, Bruce. He was like this. He was like, "How do you go on an interview? You don't check your internet connection. What is wrong?" I was like, it was working fine until I got off. He's like, I was like, dude, don't remind me. I was like, I'm not trying to be a meme, but whatever. It's okay. I was like, Bruce is a great guy. You know, he's a true.
It worked.
Made it happen.
I was glad that I had enough experience to just say, hey, switch, because it did after that. Of course, it was it was at the point. We actually were able to pull it off with Matt today. It was just okay. Like, you know what I mean? It was a little dicey with Matt. I don't know if you were watching earlier.
Well, sometimes I was on. But I tell you, I mean, it just went out like once. It wasn't bad. Mine was terrible because it was echoing. And I was like, after I watched it, I was like, oh man, this is bad. I was like, well, Bruce and Eric know what I'm talking about with all my technical jargon. They know exactly what that means. I was like, but people are going to be like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? But it's all good.
Well, it worked. And I'm glad you reached out and said, let's do it right now, because now is always good. Live is so authentic.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of live, and we can do some more stuff too. So, but we can talk about that. 4 p.m. is always a little rough for me too, though.
But no, we can go back on a live at another time. No big deal.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
very good, guys. We'll make sure to follow Don Baruta. He's at Don Baruta on X. He is. Oh, did I not say it right?
No. I mean, I get confused. It is X. You're right.
Oh, Twitter. Yeah, X. Yeah. I know. I still like Twitter.
Me too. That's why I'm like, it's hard to leave. And I'm from San Francisco, man. So Elon's gone, but I love Elon. But it's all good.
I know.
It's all good though.
Yeah. So where are you now? Are you in San Francisco?
Yeah. I'm still in the Bay Area. But I'm just saying, their office. They
I know. He left.
Yeah,
he left.
Honestly, I don't blame him though. With everything.
Oh, me either, man. Listen, I love California. I love visiting and everything else, but I call it California.
Keyword visiting.
Yes,
visiting is great. If my family and all wasn't rooted here, trust me, I'd be somewhere else. So I hear you. It's what are you gonna do, man? It's just terrible mismanagement. You know, I have so many friends and colleagues that like moved here. They're like, what is, like, it's so beautiful, but what is going on? I'm like, poor management. I'm like, here's a term that I coined. I should probably have it copyrighted, but I'm gonna share it with you and the audience. Common sense is not
right.
That's the best way I can explain it.
It's bad. I used to go out there. I might have said it on the last one. I used to go out there all the time. I hit some clients out there during COVID. and it was just
it was a ghost town.
Oh, it was crazy, man. So everything's closed except the pot shops and the strip clubs. Well, I mean, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, hey, man. I would have steered you to the pot shops, to be honest with you. The strip clubs would probably not.
No, I mean, really though, it was crazy. It was like everything was closed. You couldn't even have a cup of coffee. You had to like go, and they even didn't let you have an outside seat at Starbucks. They had all the seats locked up. It was like some weird.
Oh no, they were just handing it to you outside a window.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
You had to sit on the curb.
Yeah.
Like a whatever. It was like. It was crazy. And then you go, my clients, of course, they knew all the spots. Yeah, you could go eat at the strip club, you could do whatever. You know, everything that you couldn't do everywhere else. There was no COVID in the strip clubs.
Yeah.
And then of course the pot shops were all open too. I mean,
what can we say? You know, there's nepotism. You know, they also enforce these, I forgot what they were called. You've seen the wooden places where in the middle of the street where people have to sit outside. So the restaurants, they had to build those.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, it was crazy.
It was just like a huge racket. I have a friend. Those things weren't cheap. He had to pay like $70,000, by the way, to build that thing. To be by like code. And then they came back after a year and a half. They're like, "Oh, you have to take it down." He was like, "I'm not taking this down. You guys made me spend all this money to stay in business. I'm leaving."
Right.
You know, so it's like now we have like worse traffic because of it. Oh my God, dude!
Right, because everything's built out onto the streets and stuff.
It's the
best. It's California. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's why
people are like, we're just going to cut off California. I'm like, no, it's so nice. You can't cut off California.
And it's crazy. It's like what, the 7th or 8th biggest GDP in the world. Like it could sustain the rest of the nation. Forget about the world, just by itself.
I know.
We have everything, but it's just like, poor.
It's a mess. It is a mess. And then and the elections are a mess too. I mean, they have the drop boxes everywhere.
What elections?
It's like yeah. Well, the sad part is, I'll tell you what. I know that there's a lot of people who are excited to vote, but there's a lot of people who aren't excited to vote. Like,
well, so here's the thing. I have a lot of friends, who moved this area a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
And, not to speak politics or whatever, but they were like one train thought, which is most people, right? On this side of the nation. But after living here for about a year, let me tell you, Bruce, the things start to change. They're like, hold on, none of this makes sense. Yeah. They're like, this doesn't add up. So it's true, but it's like, I don't know. I think here's the thing, like human nature, once again, until it starts to impact you, that's when you start feeling the burn, right?
Burn. Yeah.
And it's like, we're getting burned here, left and right, from every angle. It's a beautiful place. We have it all, there's an industry, but at the same time, it's like people are taxed out.
Oh man, talking about taxes.
Not taxed like money wise. I'm just saying across the board.
Yeah,
just taxed out in every regard.
Yeah. So, well, the way out of this, guys, is the peaceful monetary revolution. The monetary revolution, gold, Bitcoin, assets like Polka Gold, Dalgo. There's no clawback. There's no freeze. Right? There's none of that stuff. So Polka Gold is like a Bitcoin. Dalgo, these things are built like Bitcoin. You own it. You own it. Get your keys, get your coins. You set up that Para wallet. You get your keys. Those are your coins.
Those are yours forever. You don't have to worry about some type of hack.
Yeah.
Some type of I don't SIM swap issue or whatever. It's yours. Just don't passphrase.
Don't lose the passphrase. Now, one thing that we didn't talk about is this absolutely unbelievable staking rewards with the P Gold right now. We're talking like 400% annual percentage rate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We didn't touch upon that. So in Tiny Man, so via Pair Wallet, let's say you have P Gold, you can stake your not stake. I'm sorry, you can farm. So right now there's 3 different farms you can farm with P Gold. The first one, you will be farming the tiny coin that I was just talking about. That Tiny Man they just released the other day. So that's the first coin you'll be farming with your P Gold. The second one will be Algorand via the governance, right? So that you'll have the governance reward. And then the third will be the Polka Gold liquidity pool reward. So you'll be mining, not mining. You'll be farming just from P Gold 3 different assets. So you'll get the coin.
So you need all 3 of those. So, and Don is kind of the expert here. You're kind of like the expert, right? Seems to me.
I wouldn't say expert.
Are you a farmer?
I'm a farmer, a staker, all that, both. There's also good rewards if you just want to stake on Cometa as well. If you just want to stake strictly just P Gold, there's I believe right now it's about 37%.
Wow.
So on your
and you can stake as well your Dalgo, right?
Dalgo as well. Yeah, I forgot to mention Dalgo on Cometa. It's about 14% right now. Nice. Yeah, so those are the 2 options. You have both of those options. Me personally, I'm conflicted between the farming and Cometa just because the farming, I mean, it's 3 different currencies. Right. From one. So it's like pretty amazing. And then Polka Gold,
amazing, right?
Yeah, and then Polka Gold itself, I mean, it's a scarce asset, So it's like can't get more than that. Is that song?
This is the Dalgo Nation. Remember, so Dalgo, this is what I was saying kind of from the beginning. This is like the advertising branch of Polka Gold. Okay. Dalgo, as big as it's going to go, probably more than likely, Polka Gold is always going to have a larger market cap. And that is why I get to be so, I'm one of the reasons why I'm so bullish on the assets is because of that. Let me just a little bit bigger. There we go. Dalgo. Yeah, I don't want to play the sound because it'll take over our thing. No. But yeah, it's cool. Meme culture is cool. Meme culture is cool.
But here's the thing. This is a meme coin though, but it has underlying utility. Most meme coins, they are cool. Don't get me wrong. They are cool. I'm all for the fun and the culture. But this one, it also packs, I want to say, a punch, comparatively speaking. Yeah. Oh, we're talking about over 1 million P Gold that's anchored to it.
And like I said, when I looked last night, I'm going to look again. It was 1.5 something.
Yeah. So if you open up on Vestige again.
I'm here on Vestige now.
Yeah. So next to the chat, you click on right next to it, the vault. It'll show it right there.
Okay. I'm just getting the Dalgo. I did find it last night, but I don't want to move off my video I'm playing there. Anyway, it's over 1.5.
Yeah, over 1.5 million. But see, that's another thing too. I mean, about Vestige, it's like it's all right there. Big ethos is in crypto is don't trust, verify, and it's like there you go. But it's like that's why to your point, you always have to read up and do your own research. But it's like doesn't get more seamless than this, I would say.
Exactly. Read up, do your own research, all that good stuff. Make sure to watch the Impact Money Show
Best show on
daily.
the internet.
Don, you're the man. Thanks so much for coming on, brother.
I appreciate you, Bruce, and thank you for having this great decentralized platform. You know, news and media. It's yeah, so it's keeping us going. Keep up the good
Got it,
fight,
brother.
You take
It's
care.
fun.
Salutations to everybody.
Cheers, brother.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of